don't know what's in the water in Europe right now, but man, they're coming out with some seriously cool stuff, and this is the latest car to continue that trend. Alright, enough talk. Let's get this on the track. 0 to 60 happens in 3.7 seconds and it has a top speed of 193 miles an hour. This should be fun. As you might be able to see, it's not exactly the nicest day out. It is cold and wet, and this big powered rear-wheel drive car wants to hang the tail out all the time. Now, that said, it is quite controllable, and I'm not having any sort of shock oversteer moments. But you do need to pay attention. Mercedes has done a pretty good job with the steering. It's a little bit lighter than I like, but it does communicate very well to the driver what the tires are doing, and you can feel all the bumps and imperfections on the road through it. The tires on this car have good grip even in the wet. In the dry, obviously they're better, but in these conditions, I'm surprised how fast we can go and how much lateral grip we have on some of the faster off-camber corners. And then there are the brakes. I don't even have the carbon ceramic brakes on this car, yet these ones have so much bite and the GT just stops. But the real beauty of this car is the engine. There is so much forward momentum. Turbo lag is almost non-existent, and the power just keeps going all the way to redline. Mercedes wants this to be a proper sports car, and although I don't think it's as nimble as, say, a 911, it is a lot of fun to drive and won't embarrass itself on a track, as I'm finding out. Plus, what 911 sounds like this? Anyone who thought a 4-liter V8 was gonna sound bad in the new line of AMGs, you're wrong. This car sounds fantastic. Oh, and in case you're wondering, that is 100% real noise. Nothing fake, nothing fed into the cabin. What I have here is the S version of the GT, the only version initially available. What makes the S so special compared to the regular GT that will come out later this year lies under the hood. An AMG-built all-new 4-liter turbocharged V8 comes standard in all versions of the GT, but in the S, power is bumped up to 503 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. This may sound like a run-of-the-mill German 4-liter turbo. I mean, everyone has one, right? But this is something different. The new AMG V8 has its 2 turbochargers mounted in between the V of the cylinder banks, similar to where the Corvette puts its supercharger. This cuts down on turbo lag and packaging space. Mercedes claims it's the first engine to have an inboard mounted turbocharger and dry sump lubrication. The car uses a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission that sends power to the rear wheels. The GTS is more than just an engine, it's a complete package. It may be a front-engine car, but since the transmission is positioned in the back of the car, it still has a rear-biased 47 to 53% weight distribution. The S ditches the regular GT's mechanical rear differential for a faster-reacting electronic differential. The GTS will also come standard with AMG Ride Control that electronically alters the dampers, as well as a 3-stage stability control system. If you want even more performance, there are optional carbon ceramic brakes that measure almost 16 inches in diameter up front. Then there's the AMG Dynamic Plus package that includes adjustable engine and transmission mounts. In the soft setting, they provide great comfort and a smooth ride. Stiffen them up and the engine and transmission feel glued to the chassis to deliver better response and a lot more vibrations. This is the second car designed and built by AMG. Like the SLS, it retains classic Mercedes styling cues. It's a couple of inches longer and substantially wider than the Porsche 911 or the Jaguar F-Type. As gorgeous as the outside of the GT may be, the inside is absolutely stunning. Mercedes claims it makes you feel like you're slipping into the cockpit of a fighter jet. That may be a bit much, but there are some definite aeronautic design cues in here. Pricing for the AMG GTS starts at $130,000, which puts it right on top of the Porsche 911. Now, it might not be able to topple that icon in terms of all-out performance, but it is gorgeous, fun to drive, and sounds amazing. That alone makes it an interesting alternative to the vast sea of 911s.